Food service operators are increasingly integrating technology in the back end of food service operations in order to minimize costs. And this is due for a lot of market conditions in which, especially in this industry that sees low profit margins generally, we're seeing the rising cost of labor, also rising rents, as well as just general inflation. So in the face of this reality, food service operators are essentially faced with two decisions. They can either cut down on operational costs, or they can raise the price to consumers. And this can be problematic if you want to raise the price to consumers, because especially, say, in fast food, where their consumer base is primarily made up of consumers seeking out cheaper products, you don't want to alienate your consumer base and dissuade people from coming. So again, at the Tech Pavilion, we've seen a lot of instances of the Internet of Things being able to minimize these costs. So individual kitchen equipment, for example, can be digitized and then monitored off-site. An example of this is a third-party company that can monitor the individual productivity of a particular piece of equipment, and they can analyze historical data to ensure that they can warn the food service operator of maintenance requirements and hopefully prevent it from breaking down, which would obviously provide extra costs to the food service operator. We're also seeing other kinds, especially around the show, of digitized kitchen equipment that can self-automate certain functions, such as self-cleaning mechanisms, and can shut themselves down at the end of the day, for example. And all of this together really helps improve the efficiency of standard food service operations and ultimately cut down on costs to the food service operator. And one final example that we've seen here, and I thought this was clever, we've got a startup that has created an app that serves as an aggregator to local supply chains. And this is important for especially a new entrant in the market that is looking to effectively find the right supply chains, perhaps localize them, that suits their needs. And so we've got this sort of one-stop shop for new entrants to find the most efficient supply chains and again, to minimize costs. So ultimately, with the integration of tech and food service, and especially as technology becomes more widespread and in developed markets where the infrastructure to accommodate these new technologies is becoming more prevalent, we're seeing several clever instances of different food service operators using technology to directly influence the consumer and increase their consumer base to hopefully give them a market edge amidst different competition in the market. But we're also seeing ways in which food service operators are integrating technology on the back end to minimize costs to increase profitability. And this will be a recurring theme throughout the year and in the years to come.